Welcome back to Fist Entertainment. Well, when I go to this other very bizarre movie from Nyan Films, sometimes a father and son relationship can be quite interesting. That's certainly the case with the making of this movie. This film is directed by, this is a still book, and can't really find his name on it because there's nothing on the back here. Oh, no, never mind, there it is. I guess it is on the back. This film is directed, and this is the first time directorial debut of Brandon Cronenberg. Brandon Cronenberg is the son of the Canadian horror mastermind director David Cronenberg. He's responsible for quite a few very bizarre horror and sci-fi films, including this recent one, Crimes of the Future, which obviously takes masochism and cutting into people's flesh and organ removal is a sort of bizarre take on sexual orgasmic sensation. Very weird movie. This film is insanely weird as well, and I'm talking about 2023's Infinity Pool. And this is the exclusive uncut version, and this is the exclusive limited edition steelbook. Alright, well, there's no plot synopsis on the back of this, so I'm just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Alright, Infinity Pool is about a writer with writer's block who is married to an aristocrat wife. They go on a vacation to an island for tourism. And basically, in this island and town or whatever, I'd say it's just an island. Yeah, this island. Basically, they hang out with other tourists and drink a little too much, and he accidentally runs over and kills a what's the word? Wow, I use this word so many times and I can't remember it. But one of the island's folks, I guess, so we'll just put island's folks. One of the indigenous people that live in this island, and kills him. They did get away with it, but then the law comes around and arrests him. And this island has a very bizarre thing they do when something bad happens. And this guy's left in our main character, who was played obviously by Alexander Skarsgård, has a choice. He can go ahead and be executed and brutally murdered by the family members of the person that he accidentally ran over and killed, or, and this is where it gets weird, people, this is where it gets really weird, have a duplicate created of him and attend the execution to watch basically a duplicate, an exact copy of him, be brutally murdered in front of him for his crimes. And what we find out is that he's not the only one, but the people that he was hanging out with, this also happens to have a very, very twisted and deranged female character, played by Mia Goth. They all find like this, almost like getting drunk and having like an addiction to basically doing very bad things and having this like high off of getting away with them, because all they gotta do is just pay money to have a duplicate made of them to pay for whatever heinous crimes they're doing, and somehow they get a high off of it, and then they have like this, that fucks up their heads a bit, and it makes them, crave more. excitement and shit. And well, our main character is falling into complete disarray and madness through it. After about 3 times of doing these things, he wants out. And, well, his newfound friends will not let him out. Go away. And eventually he falls so far into madness that he completely loses his mind. And at the end of the film, instead of waiting for until next year instead of leaving the island and waiting for next year to go back to the island and do this weird, bizarre crap again, the last thing we see is him, literally, as the island is starting to, go into a very bad, flood-like season to where it gets flooded and shit. We see him sitting in a chair, like this, water's all falling over the place, and it like he's waiting for something, because that's how far gone he's gotten. So yeah, this is a very, very twisted, very bizarre movie. The uncut version is not really any different from the theatrical cut of the film. Not really at all. There's like a few extended sequences here and there, but overall, it doesn't make the film even more twisted than it already is. This is a very, very, very deranged movie. But what can you expect from the son of David Cronenberg? David Cronenberg's a very, very twisted, visionary director. Now, he's not a twisted individual life, but man, in the movies he makes, this guy is definitely has a twisted artistic mind when it comes to making movies, and it definitely makes sense that his very own flesh and blood son would be the same way. And all I can say is, this might be his son's first movie, but if you're into very weird, bizarre, and macabre, freaking crazy movies like I am, I would say keep an eye on this guy, Brandon Cronenberg, because I think that he could literally stand toe-to-toe with his own father. So, yeah, I would definitely keep an eye on anything else he makes, and definitely check out Infinity Pool. Now let's talk about the quality. The 4K is definitely a step up from the regular Blu-ray for sure, because I did buy the regular Blu-ray first, and then obviously this finally came out in 4K, and I got this version of it. I was happy enough to be able to find the steelbook. I did not have the ability to find a steelbook of Crimes of the Future in 4K, unfortunately. You know how I love my steelbooks. I have a lot of steelbooks. Steelbooks are awesome. I love steelbooks. But yeah, the picture is more brightly lit than Crimes of the Future, but it does have a lot of dark scenes in the film, so it kind of goes back and forth. There's maybe 2 or 3 scenes of the film that are actually bright. The end of the film has a little brightness going on, at least until the rain starts falling on me. It's like looking like this, waiting for something all bizarre and shit, like he's obsessed. Yeah, at the very beginning of the film, there's like a couple of sequences to where it's bright as well. And there's 4. There's another one about close to the third act of the film, to where there's like a bright sequence. But for the most part, this film is very dark. But what's interesting about this film is it has some scenes of the film that are very neon colored like looking. We have these very vivid, very bright colors. And what's cool about it is HDR10, it loves shit like that. If we have shit like that going on, it loves that shit. It eats it up, and it really makes it bright and vivid and stuff like that. And yeah, this film looks insanely good in 4K with this picture quality. The audio, this has a 5.1, I believe. Let me go ahead and check here just to make sure. Yeah, it has a 5.1 DTS HDMA. Now, interesting enough, I usually don't talk about the aspect ratios anymore of films, as you noticed. But this one's different because it has a 1.78.1 widescreen format, which is very unusual for a movie. Usually, if you don't have, the letterbox bars on the top and bottom of the screen, it's usually not a frame like what you're looking at right now. I'm actually filming stuff in 1.78. Usually it would be a 1.85, and when 1.85 you actually will have a little border on the top and bottom of the screen. You have to look closely at the screen to see it, but it's there. So it's not actually covering every single inch of the screen. There's actually a little border on the top and bottom of the screen. It's kind of like 1.66.1 widescreen. You actually will have a couple of borders on the sides of the screen. It doesn't really, it's not significant, but it is there. And I just find it very interesting that they actually chose 1.78.1 widescreen format for a movie of this magnitude, but they did. But it doesn't take away from the experience of the film. Well, Infinity Pool. Again, Infinity Pool, as well as Crimes of the Future, were looked down on by critics alike because these are Cronenberg movies. Now, me being a Cronenberg fan, and I've seen a lot of his films and have loved them, and yeah, his very weird ones. I mean, his very, very, very weird body horror films like Videodrome and Existence and Naked Lunch and Dead Ringers. I love this type of weird stuff. That's why you're looked down on, but these are artsy-ass movies. So yes, if you have not checked out Infinity Pool, check it out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for a series of more reviews. Until then.